Well, hi folks, welcome to the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2026 show. In today's episode, we will be breaking down again three defining matches, right, that have sort of shaped the road to the Super 8s. We are almost reaching that fag end of the group stages itself, where we see these triple headers that we absolutely love talking about. But yesterday, we got to see how South Africa pulled off a very clinical run chase against the UAE. We sort of, analyzed tactical decisions, key partnerships, and what that unbeaten run even, defined South Africa and their journey so far. Then we talk about the Pakistan-Namibia match, where a lot of Indian fans were probably hoping for Namibia to pull off an upset, but Sahibzada Farhan had different plans, right? Scoring his maiden T20 century. And last but not the least, we talk about India's for the lack of a better word, I'm going to say control win over Netherlands, where they really pushed the ball, but still sort of managed to pull off a win. And in this live, you will see us explore all of these narratives itself. Srishti, hi. Let's start off with match 34, South Africa versus UAE itself. Again, for your first thoughts on it, South Africa has been mad efficient, right? That's been their theme in all ICC events, but we see what happens to them in knockouts. But UAE shortcomings too, right, were quite exposed in this match, given how one-sided the encounter eventually ended up turning out. Just what did you make of the match itself?
Yeah, so I think definitely like when we talk about UAE shortcomings, this was much more about South Africa just being a way better team. And I think they have been one of the best teams this tournament. They have been pretty consistent as well. So, yeah, I think it was just that it was one of those days where South Africa just executed all of the plans that they had, except in the field. But yeah, so I wouldn't say that, like it was UAE's shortcoming particularly that caused them the loss. I think it was just South Africa being the team that it is.
Yeah, 100% right. Talk about any ICC event and them turning up. They do so in style, right? Let's talk about the toss and conditions itself, right, pertaining this match. Now, South Africa chose to field on a slightly tacky Delhi surface, right? I'd call it tacky there. But again, do you think chasing was always going to be the smarter option, considering how, batting was going to probably ease out later?
Yeah, and this was not one of those days where, like same condition, similar conditions like we expected in Delhi because it was like overcast conditions as well. We saw a little bit of rain as well. So, yeah, there was a lot of moisture in the pitch. I think they just chose to like back their seamers, and their seamers did get them a lot of wickets. So, I think, yeah, that was the easy decision to make there, like choosing to bowl first. And yeah, it was a pretty easy chase for them in the second innings.
Yeah, because let's talk about UAE and their batting effort itself, right? Again, the duo of Aryan Sharma and Mohammad Wasim, a lot of expectations coming in from them. It wasn't the most ideal start. Like they got those runs, but again, like somewhere when you look at Mohammad Wasim itself, right? He did promise that sort of an aggressive start and delivered on it. But UAE ultimately didn't sort of capitalize and ride on that momentum. Do you think that probably was a tad tricky for them?
Yeah, like initially it looked like, they got off to a fair, decent start kind of thing. But then Mohammad Wasim got out. And I just feel like they couldn't find that rhythm. And UAE has struggled batting first. I think they have batted first three times in this tournament and they have lost all of those matches. So the only match they won was against Canada, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, like they won that while chasing. It was a 150 or so target. So I think this has been a problem about them. Like they have lacked that, intent in their innings. And yeah, they were very cautious with their start as well. So yeah, and against a side like South Africa, that hesitation always costs you.
Yeah, and I think UAE too, right? The kind of power plays that they've had have not been ideal in this tournament, and it's quite telling in this match too. Yet, I think emerging as a positive for UAE was Alishan Sharafu, right? 45, yet again holding the innings together, despite limited support, right, from the other end. Wickets were just falling all around him, but man was still holding his ground. Again, how do you just contextualize his knock in the presence of all of these factors where the other batters were just not stepping up as much as expected?
Yeah, I think it was a very, very important knock because at one stage it really looked like UAE might not even reach the 100 mark. So those 45 runs from his bat were really, really important. Yeah, he really absorbed the pressure and ensured that they reached at least a decent target. I wouldn't say that it was a good target at all. Like 120 odd runs is nothing for South Africa. Yeah, but the issue was support. Like there were literally no meaningful partnerships in that entire innings. So yeah, like even if Sharafu wanted to actually convert that into something like a bigger knock, he couldn't do that because there was no support from the other end.
Yeah, and when you continue to look at UAE and their batting scorecard, right, it doesn't really paint a good picture because besides this duo and Aryan Sharma itself, none of the batters even got to double figures. And again, probably what led to UAE's batting failure was Corbin Bosch himself, right? The kind of control he exhibited, especially through multiple phases of the game, probably that proved to be a defining factor, right, in restricting UAE to a way below par total.
Yeah, I think definitely. Like Corbin Bosch control, especially through the middle overs, it was just amazing to watch. And he just conceded 12 runs, like with an bowling with an economy of four. That's just, it's amazing. It's phenomenal. So he was really helped by George Linder as well, actually, because he also conceded very few runs. So yeah, I think middle overs is that phase where, totals are either built or they're just stalled. So I think capitalizing on that was really important, and South Africa did that really well.
Yeah, they did that really well, and even just continuing to look at their bowling effort itself, Andrik Nokia, man, it's been a while since we've seen him amongst the wickets. Him, pocketing two wickets. Kagiso Rabada and Quena Mafaka at the other end as well, right? Just chipping in, not giving as many runs, probably a few extras here and there, but it didn't, prove to be that costly. All in all, whatever that batting effort was from UAE ensured that they got like 122 on the board. And against a competitive South Africa side, it was probably never going to be enough itself, right? Again, when you look at South Africa's run chase itself, like how decisive was Aiden Markram's explosive 28 of 11, right? It sort of effectively ended the contest within the first 6 overs, and a great way to get started maybe with their innings.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think when you already have like such a low target on board, you are already down psychologically. And that innings from Markram striking at 250 plus, I think psychologically that put a lot of pressure like on UA. And yeah, even though he got out after that, I think he got out in the third over or so. He already set that platform, the momentum was already with South Africa. So he has been phenomenal in this World Cup. He has been the highest run scorer as well, leading from the front. So yeah, I think it was really important. Like even though he scored 28 runs, the pace at which he did like already broke down, UAE psychologically.
Yeah, and I think here's where we can also talk about Ryan Rickleton and Deval Brevis themselves, right? I mean, the way they went about rebuilding, it really showed, I think, South Africa's depth, where acceleration continued even after those early wickets. Like, South Africa was in a comfortable position, they'd scored enough runs, yet, wickets were falling. But this partnership against Rishi, do you think was very decisive?
Yeah, I think definitely because yeah, I think Markram got out, then Leacock got out as well. And but they had already set that platform, like they had scored 50 odd runs or so in 6 overs. So and the target was really not that much for South Africa to panic. So it was really important that they rotate strike, take charge, and uh, like hit boundaries when they're supposed to. They did exactly that, and they finished the match within 14 overs or so. So it was a pretty easy chase at the end of the day.
Yeah, although there was a brief moment of panic, you still had this partnership sort of ensure that the batters, who came in later could still finish off the job. Again, when we look at it from a UAE bowling perspective itself, Srishti, like they had four different wicket takers, right? Again, like what do you think prevented UAE from creating that sustained pressure, right? During the chase, I think this has been the case with a lot of associate teams where they get those wickets, but they're unable to capitalize after that. So again, similar case with UAE there.
Yeah, I think definitely. Like they did take very important wickets, and obviously that does cause a lot of pressure on the other side. But the thing is that there were not many dot balls. Like strike rotation was still happening from the other end. So I think that is where the difference comes in. Like if you take wickets but you're still conceding runs, you're not able to capitalize on the wickets that you've taken. And yeah, again, I think it was just their batting that was really not it. Like 122 runs is just not enough on board, and I think already you kind of are in that zone that how will we defend this. So yeah, ideally they should have capitalized on that, but they couldn't stop the strike rotation, and that is why yeah, it became a very easy chase for South Africa.
Yeah, 100%. And here's where we can take a few comments from our live chat. Sudipta goes on to say that Markram is always a treat to, watch in full flow. Srishti, this Markram 2.0 is giving us enough reasons to be excited about. For the longest time, he was looked at, say, this anchor or someone who plays, those very conventional cover drives and all of that. But him being able to reinvent himself this way, right? Again, just to draw women's cricket reference, that of Laura Wolfart itself, right? The way she has managed to capture all of her attention for the right reasons. Yeah, talk to us about Aiden Markram 2.0 and what you've absolutely loved and his contributions to the South African lineup itself.
Yeah, I think he has always been that guy, who plays like an anchor sort of innings, but now he has changed his tempo and he's just like charging from the get go. And you always need a start like that in the beginning from your openers, and that really helps down the line, like it helped yesterday as well. So, yeah, it is definitely a treat to watch him play. And also, South Africa under him has been in phenomenal form. I think they lost only one match, and that was against India. So, yeah, like it has definitely been a treat to watch him play.
Yeah, and hopefully, he does continue to play like this, right? It's just so refreshing to see him be at his best because I think Quinton de Kock himself is sort of still finding his feet after all those retirements, reversing it, and like whatever is happening in that front. But Srishti, before we move on to our next match itself, probably we can have a look at the overall takeaway itself. Right now, this has been an unbeaten run, right, for South Africa in their lead up to the Super 8s itself. Again, like, how do you look at South Africa and how they're shaping up, right? Like, what do you think are some of the biggest concerns? Are there any to address? And they're looking like a good side, right? That can really challenge. I think they play India next, so an exciting match in store, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Like, especially after the 2024 final, I'm really excited to watch this match. And I think South Africa have looked like a very balanced side, maybe much more than India, in my opinion. So, yeah, I have observed them like, managing their faces really well and understanding the pitch as well, knowing their game plan and then sticking to it as well. So, yeah, they look like a really strong side, and I'm looking forward to watch them play.
Yeah, South Africa clearly, giving a lot of Indian fans reasons to be worried about, the way they have turned up this World Cup. It's going to be quite interesting to see how that match versus India pans out. I think even the broadcasters are on their end are, coming up with some very, I don't know, passive aggressive ads, very provocative ads itself, right? So
Yeah,
not
really
sure
funny
what's
ads, I think.
you're not sure what's happening there. Hopefully, it does, augur well for India later.
It would be really
And
embarrassing for India to lose them.
I swear, especially in the context of that ad itself. But not nobody going on to say that spin is weak in South Africa and Rabada's rhythm too, right, has probably blown hot and cold, which could be a cause for concern. I think, yeah, there's this other comment I did want to take. Prasad going on to say, hello, watching this from Sri Lanka. When I searched for discussions about the Sri Lanka versus Australia match, I found this YouTube channel. This is so cool. Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. If you're new here, please make sure to subscribe. We're doing a lot of fun things and covering this World Cup as well. So, yeah, make sure to check us out. I think this comment came in like way earlier. Yeah, came way earlier in our live chat about the pre-show lifetime for India women versus Australia women. So that's the thing, right? Although the matches are being streamed like on Sony Live, most of the times the pre-show they just end up showing like highlights from the World Cup or like they end up showing like the match is streaming on Disney Hotstar, on Geo Hotstar itself. They end up showing like World Cup highlights or the India Sri Lanka match highlights. They're not showing us the actual thing that Fox is doing, right, as a part of the pre-show. So yeah, just make sure to like turn up at 1:45 and watch the match directly, right? Unfortunately, there is no pre-show in that way. But Srishti, let's move on to match 35, Namibia versus Pakistan itself. Again, yeah, let's get your first thoughts on this, right? Did this match feel like, Pakistan is finally producing a complete World Cup performance when it mattered the most, right? Because so many people had just written them off. And after this win, Pakistan seems like a much more confident unit, more assured of what they sort of want to offer.
Yeah, I think the thing about Pakistan is that they're very unpredictable. If it's their day, they played like really well. And I think yesterday was just one of those days. And they outplayed Namibia in possibly every department, be it fielding, batting, bowling. And I think, yeah, this was their best performance so far. Because they checked all the boxes, which they were struggling to do even in the match against India. We saw their batting. So yeah, I think they will take a lot of positives from this, and it was definitely the kind of win that I did not expect, and I thought that it would still be like a fight from Namibia, which wasn't the case. It was a pretty one-sided match.
Yeah, I mean, let's factor in the toss and the conditions itself, right? Pakistan chose to bat first. Again, for you, was this a proactive call, just anticipating how spin assistance is something they were looking at the Colombo surface itself, and they just probably needed that, one team where their batters could go all guns blazing, and like what better team than Namibia? Like no disrespect to them, but I thought that was their strategy, right?
Yeah, I think definitely. And also, I feel like this was the right call to make in this match, but also in the match against India, when they won the toss, I think they should have chosen to bat first if they ever plan to break the streak that India is on. So, yeah, I think their strength is, their spin bowling. They have a lot of variety in their spin. So, like, they chose to back that, and they played really well with the bat also, even though they started a little slow. But yeah, one batter sticking throughout definitely helps, and that is the reason why they could, set that platform for their bowlers to capitalize on.
Yeah, because when you just sort of assess their power play and how they went about their business itself, they were 47 for 1 at that stage. And Pakistan looked, a little scratchy early. There's no two ways of looking at it. Again, did you think that this was probably a slow start that was masking like bigger intent? And man, we got to see that also sort of unfold, right?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think there was a lot of logic behind playing like that. Also, they did look a little nervous in the field, also. But yeah, I think it was a calculated move to make because considering this middle order has been struggling with Babar Azam, like form struggling and all. So I think they needed one batter to stick throughout, and Farhan did that for them. So yeah, it was a very well paced innings, in my opinion. And yeah, that is exactly what Pakistan needed in this match.
Yeah, and I think one of the factors that ensured that we got to a massive total was that of Sahibzada Farhan itself, right? His innings actually shifted from a very anchoring sort of a knock to an outright match defining performance itself. Again, like how would you put in perspective a knock like that? And it definitely augured well, right, for Pakistan?
Yeah, I think definitely. Like he started slow as well. Yeah, because they lost their opener early, and then Salman Ali Agha came in, and there was this brief period of partnership that was going on, like 60, 70 runs. So I think after like the captain also got out, there was a little phase where he had to anchor the innings and he had to make sure that like he doesn't lose his wicket at the same time taking charge as well. I think the turning point was around the 11th to 14th over or so, and he began like targeting those specific bowlers, and yeah, he started sweeping and all. So I think it was a very well paced innings. I think his first 50 came off, I think 37 balls or so, and in the next 20 balls he just went all guns blazing. So I think it was a very smart innings.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the innings in phases like that, right, it definitely does put in perspective how crucial and imperative that knock was. And I'm glad you brought in the partnership too, right, that he struck with Salman Ali Agha that stabilized the innings, prevented that early middle order exposure crisis that Pakistan has been facing. Sudip also goes on to say that it's still a very average Pakistan side when their openers could not give them that start. Probably will come to bite them later. But again, the fact that Farhan is in the kind of form he's in, hopefully they shouldn't be facing so many problems itself. But another interesting facet of Pakistan's innings yesterday was the promotion of Shadab Khan itself, right? Ahead of bigger names like Babar Azam. Now, again, for you, did that sort of signal how they wanted to be like more tactically flexible, and they just wanted that impetus because they were looking at a big total for sure and a massive win in that regard. So, did you like sense it was like thinking in that direction?
I think like Pakistan are known for their rigidity in all these decisions, and I think I really like that they actually took that chance, like sending Shadab up the order, and it worked for them as well. So I think if they continue with this approach, they be flexible and they check like are our batters like performing up to their potential, and accordingly make changes. I think yeah, I think overall their cricket can improve a lot if they just make these hard decisions. So, yeah, I think it was a very smart decision to send him up the order, and it proved to be a good one as well.
Srishti being as polite as possible by in her criticism of Pakistan itself. But even just to ask you this question about Babar Azam, right? The kind of form that he's been in, I think the discourse all around social media is that he's just not apt or ideal for the T20 format. His game is very redundant. The strike rate concerns, and we know the whole BBL incident as well. Srishti, again, like going ahead after this World Cup, in spite of all the chances that Babar is given, do you see him in the T20 scheme of things, or is it time for Pakistan to start, looking at other options, considering they have like some great names just warming their benches at the moment?
Yeah, I think definitely. Like I said, Pakistan need to be adaptable in their approach right now, and they have given plenty of chances to Babar Azam. It's not like they haven't, and he has just not stepped up. Like I understand if you're struggling with form, but it has been a long time since they have been giving chances. So yeah, I think definitely they should look at other options right now, and it is always better to step away. Like I think Babar himself should understand that he's not performing up to what is expected of him. So at a time like this, it especially in a World Cup, it really slows down your side if a batter like Babar Azam cannot perform to his potential, and especially in the like middle order phase, kind of. So that really slows the other team, like other players, down as well. So
Yeah, and considering they have Mike Hessen in the ranks, right, you would expect some, like, I think logical thinking to play out, and probably, Pakistan to look for other options as well. When you sort of break down how Pakistan went about with their business itself, you could see, right, how there was a death over surge. They scored heavily in the fag end of the innings. But again, for you, was Namibia's bowling rotation itself the turning point that allowed the momentum to completely slip away? The reason I bring this up is because I know nobody also goes on to point out that Erasmus, bowling so late was absolutely criminal. Namibia bowled like they just did not care. Again, a harsh criticism, but fair to see that, right? The way Pakistan just like took the match away and never really looked back, right?
yeah, I think definitely like Erasmus has been one of the top bowlers, and sending him in so late, like he had done well in the earlier overs as well. So it really did not make sense. And also they were rotating their bowlers too frequently. I did not understand the logic behind it at all. So I think there was no like a phase where you build sustained pressure for the batter. There was no phase such as that for Pakistan. And as a result, like they always could, take charge and reach that score.
Yeah, Namibia's bowling clearly wasn't up to the mark yesterday because when you just look at the bowlers, right? I mean, each of the bowlers is just going in economy rates of excess of 8 itself, right? Which proves that they didn't probably have the best day in office. Yeah, I think just to like carry on that Babar conversation itself, Sudipta goes on to say, can't guarantee about PCB because Babar come back in the team after 24, the debacle that they had. He was not even in the Asia Cup squad, yet we see him being constantly thrust in, thrown out and all of that. So, yeah, can't really say what happens, in the back end with the administration at Pakistan. But all in all, yeah, Pakistan's crazy batting effort, thanks to Sahibzada Farhan and his 100. They got to 199 for 3, which is not just a massive ego boost, but also like a massive, massive win, right? Because Namibia's batting itself folded for what? 97, a very forgettable batting effort in that regard. But again, Srishti, just the kind of start that they had, right? They were 32 for no loss early on. Somewhere I think it did threaten Pakistan, right? But did you always think that, hey, the required rate was always going to be their biggest opponent, and getting past that would possibly never be easy?
No, honestly, like their openers got off to a very nice start. Like they scored 30 odd runs or so, and they looked in very good touch as well. But after that, like when one wicket went, like it was a complete collapse for them. Like they got to 49 for 4, and after that, it was just like it triggered a full batting order collapse, and they were all out for 97. And that too, like in the 17th over. So they were still trying. It's not like they weren't trying, but the run rate at that time was like a lot. It just wasn't possible to chase that down.
Yeah, and Pakistan too, right? To their credit, went in with a very interesting bowling strategy. They dropped Shaheen Shah Afridi, and it was a very spin-heavy sort of an attack, right? So again, how decisive do you think was that? In just dismantling Namibia's middle and lower middle order, and just absolutely giving nothing away to them.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think Pakistan has a lot of variety in their spin department right now. I think it has been a long time since they have that variety, and they have every kind of spin you would be looking for. So yeah, there's a lot of variations. There's like mystery spinners also. Like so, I think yeah, that definitely plays a big role, especially in the middle overs. And yeah, Namibia just did not have any answers to that kind of spin, and they just looked like sort of trapped in that situation.
Yeah, and I think very reflective of how just two batters, got to like the double digit scores, and extras also being amongst, the leading run getters for them. A very, very forgettable batting effort in that regard. I know nobody going on to say that Pakistan bowling can scare any team, but they are one bowler short clearly. You have Mirza, Tariq, Saim, and Nawaz as well. They're tough to face for teams, apart from India, which makes them quite the I don't know, like very interesting team, right, for others to square off against. But Srishti, again, like an overall takeaway, like Pakistan can take from this is a 102 run win. They sealed their Super 8 qualification with destiny in their own hands. For you, do you think a performance like this sort of redefines Pakistan as contenders, or just a team that's peaking against weaker oppositions and could possibly face a way sterner test in the Super 8s?
Yeah, I think definitely. Like, this win will give a lot of confidence booster for them. But the thing is that this was still a team like Namibia. It was an associate. So when they actually play against the Super 8 nations, they will face a like big challenge, especially with their batting. But I think, yeah, when it comes to their spin department, I think they should just focus on backing their spin department, and they can be a challenge for teams like, New Zealand and England. Who struggle against spin. So it might be a contest to watch out for. Like you never know with Pakistan, they can always surprise you.
Yeah, because when they turn up in a manner like this and really shock teams, right? Because they are in the group two of Super 8s, in a group that has England, New Zealand, and Sri Lanka, right? It's going to be quite the dogfight, to see who's going to be again those top two teams that come out of this. There was this live chat comment that I did want to take earlier, and I think Srishti can relate to this a lot. Quick question. If Neha watches every game across men's and women's cricket, when does she sleep, right? Right now, I've just been consuming so much cricket. I hope it doesn't lead to like a burnout or something itself. But Srishti, you can relate too, right? With just so much cricket happening.
Yeah.
Just finished the WPL, Saas bhi nahi liya, and T20 World Cup started. Like, how have you been dealing with all the cricket that's happening?
I think it has been really fun to watch as well. Like, but obviously it's tough to keep a track of every single match. But also it's like a treat to watch, definitely. Too much cricket can never go wrong. But yeah, it has been back to back, like with WPL, the World Cup, and then we'll have the IPL as well. So but it's like a festival for cricket fans, so it's a treat to watch, definitely.
Yes, exactly. Can relate to that word. Like, each and every word that you said, I could relate to that. And exactly, like literally copy paste there. And hope to just continue watching as much cricket. Love to see it happening. Prasad going on to ask us, is it an added advantage to have a left arm bowler in the squad, right? Dilshan Madhushanka has been included in our squad to replace the injured Patirana. I think Nuvan Tushara is a better option. Again, especially from a very Sri Lanka perspective itself, right? Or even in general, like left arm spinners or just
Yeah.
bowlers have that sort of variety, and a lot of us just get excited for no reason, right? So again, like, what do you make of this? Dilshan Madhushanka, a great replacement for Patirana?
Yeah, I think definitely this will, like, Sri Lanka already have a lot of depth in their bowling. This will add to it much more. And yeah, having a left arm bowler in the squad always helps. We have seen this throughout like the past few months, I think, especially. Like even in the like coming to the women's part of it, like Women's World Cup, also I've seen like so many left arm bowlers doing so much better. So yeah, it is always an advantage for the team.
And even the Nuvan Tushara sentiment, I get it, right? Because the RCB management clearly seems to rate him really highly. There were a section of fans who were like, hey, you should have kept blessing Muzrabani. Like, why is Nuvan Tushara still there? But there's a lot of potential in the man, right? Hopefully, he does get his opportunities and due, but probably not this World Cup itself. Yeah. I know nobody going on to say I'm watching the Karnataka versus Uttarakhand match, the Ranji Trophy match itself, right? Which is proving to be quite the humdinger in itself. So there's just so much cricket happening. In fact, as soon as this
Yeah,
stream gets
exactly.
over,
Like,
yeah, there's like three more matches scheduled for the day itself, right? Exciting, exciting times. But
and
Srishti,
it's
let's
also like, instead of one match a day, it's like three, four matches happening. So it's like you're occupied the entire day. Like there's some cricket going on. But yeah, it's always fun to watch more cricket better.
exactly because it's not like you're watching it all the time. It's just like playing commentaries happening, and you're just
Yeah, it's
like
like in the background.
Exactly. At this point, it's just that. But let's talk about match 36, right? India versus Netherlands. I think off record, we were talking about how India was really pushed to the ball with this one. Like, it seems like a win, but still, quite the uncomfortable one in that regard. Let's get your first thoughts on record itself, right? For you, did this game sort of reinforce by India our tournament favorites? As much as, we criticize them, every single match there has been a match winner, who has stepped up and ensured that India was on the winning side itself. The conditions itself weren't entirely batting friendly, yet you could see how they capitalized and made the most of it. But just what did you make of the win and the conditions itself?
Yeah, I mean, like a home World Cup. Obviously, India are favorites, like we were in 2023 as well. But yeah, like even though we have won all matches, yeah, there are a lot of positives to take, like different players stepping up and all. But I think there have been plenty of areas for improvement as well. Like when it comes to our batting, it has all like we have seen a collapse so many times in this World Cup, and that is not a good sign, especially if going into the Super Eights, facing a team like South Africa. We can't afford that. But yeah, like definitely, yeah, India are favorites to win. So hoping that things go away, but there are plenty of learnings to take from these games as well.
Yeah, yeah. Although India's had an unbeaten run in this group stage, there's definitely areas they'd want to sort of iron out and look into. I'm not sure if they can do it through the course of this World Cup itself, but like again, optimize for resources within the squad. India's strong point is Varun, Bumrah, Arshdeep. The spell that will always give them that advantage ahead of other teams. Srishti, again, agree with this sentiment that India's bowling has always been their strength. Batting, again, we always end up taking it for granted, but the bowling also sort of stepping up and ensuring that they complement the batting department augurs well for India.
Yeah, definitely. I think having Bumrah, Deep, Varun in our team is definitely a blessing because we have struggled with our batting, but these bowlers have always stepped up and like have made sure that we get to that winning run. So it's really important and it's like they're crucial additions to our team. And yeah, definitely I think going forward in the tournament also their role will be very important. And it was expected that India would be batting really well considering the New Zealand series and all, like we'll cross 300 and all. But I think that was pretty unrealistic because it's a World Cup. It's not just like a normal game or something like that. So there's always pressure and there's always something to lose. So I do understand why we have not really clicked with the batting, but I'm pretty sure we have a lot in the bank and we can do much better than we have right now.
Yeah, I think India would be itching themselves, to come up with a performance that sort of defines the team and the way, the quality and the DNA of cricket that they've been playing, right, since that 2024 edition itself, where we saw a little bit of an overhaul and transition. And so, yeah, again, pretty much going to reinforce the point that you brought in that these are not the flat tracks like the bilaterals. This is the World Cup of ICC, right? ICC has made pitches, not BCCI. So the par score here is going to be 200, 210. In Sri Lanka, the par score in India is probably like 170, 180. And to bat well, you have to stay on the pitch and show that sort of application and intent, right? I think we were just so used to seeing like T20 on steroids, especially in all the series that India played before this World Cup, that we thought, yeah, like 300 is definitely going to happen. But fortunately, there is something on offer for the bowlers, which otherwise just makes it entirely one sided, right?
Yeah, I think like T20 cricket in general has become such a like batters thing, and I really don't like that because I miss those phases, where 160, 180 used to be a good target, and I think this World Cup has been like that. So it's been a treat to watch this World Cup as well because bowlers are stepping up and they are getting the chance to step up. That's the main thing. And thanks to like ICC for making these pitches. Otherwise, I don't know, like 250 and all, it's just not, if there's no competition, like there's nothing in it for the bowlers, it's not fun to watch at all.
Yeah, then it just becomes another case of, watching SRH in like probably the 2024 season where they're just scoring runs for
Yeah.
fun and the others are just like, probably being like, how do we chase this down? And there's absolutely nothing on offer, right, for the bowlers itself. But let's talk about the toss and conditions. Like India again
Yeah.
chose to yeah, India again, I mean, chose to bat first, right? This is a black soil Ahmedabad surface itself. Like, what did you think? Did you think that it was more about them, wanting to put that scoreboard pressure because dew might factor in later, make the run chase tricky? Like, what did you make of India's decision itself?
I think it was a pretty interesting call. I think they also wanted to, like try and flex their batting muscle, which I think they did not fully. But yeah, it was a bit of that, and it was also preparation for the game against South Africa, which will also be in Ahmedabad. So, in case if they're asked to bat first in that match, they should always, be prepared for how their batting lineup and bowling lineup will show up in that situation. So, I think it was a lot of the mindset was maybe a lot of mental preparation also, because this was like this match didn't hold any real value because it was a dead rubber, obviously. But yeah, I think it was a lot of testing purpose that was maybe in the management's head before choosing this decision.
Yeah, 100%. And somewhere, I think a lot of Indian fans were like sweating already, right? Because Aryan Dutt, the way he disrupted India early on and sort of exposed their very left heavy top order itself. Srishti, again, reasons to be worried there because the struggles against spin continue to keep coming up to the surface, yet, the management pushes it under the carpet, but oppositions continue to exploit it, right?
Yeah, I think we have reached a phase where, every other team knows that we're struggling against this, and every team is using that to their full advantage, which is exactly what Netherlands did yesterday. And Aryan Dutt has also been phenomenal in power play and other matches as well. And when it comes to Abhishek Sharma, yesterday I just felt like really bad for him because it has been three back-to-back ducks, and he really he's struggling to get even that first run. So it can take like a very dip in confidence, and it can like take a backseat for him. But I feel like he will step up soon. So Abhishek Sharma's form is definitely a concern, and also Ishan Kishan, he has been playing really well. So yesterday, but Aryan, that spell was just too good for any of the left batters to really get going. Even though Tilak Verma did try, but he was also struggling a lot against Aryan Dutt.
Yeah, I was actually just going to get to Abhishek Sharma and his form itself, right? Three ducks, and it definitely isn't looking really good. A lot of fans just getting worried. A lot of memes, memes and abuse being thrust at the man, which is definitely unfair. But against Rishi,
Yeah.
like although it was one of those days where India did end up winning the match, there's still reasons, right, to be worried about the batting side of things. And somewhere when you observe the match itself, you saw right how boundaries dried up for a bit. Here, did you feel like Netherlands actually won that tactical battle, especially over 6-15? India did end up with like 194, but that middle over phase, right? Again, I'm not sure if people who watch the highlights will know. The ones who are watching it live will be able to probably, like resonate with what we're trying to say. But India was in deep trouble, right, with the way the boundaries were just not coming, and it gave us enough reasons to be worried about like how is this team going to cope going ahead, right?
Yeah, especially like I know like 300 is a lot to expect, and expectations were set like that. But even like a score like 200, 210, that would be a very nice score on this pitch. Even that looked really tough because there were literally no boundaries coming in. It's like Tilak Verma and Surya Kumar Yadav, they were playing the same kind of innings. Usually there's like one anchor and one person taking charge. None of them were able to take that charge. So it was really concerning. And I think Netherlands did really well in that phase because I think there were 20 balls or so without a single boundary, and the pressure just kept on mounting for India. So, yeah, I think they did really well, and they definitely won that phase. Like, they slowed the game down entirely for India. But then, yeah, of course, Shivam Dubey coming in and playing the innings that he did. So,
Actually, I did want to talk about Shivam Dubey itself, right? Because you could see, right, the intent from the start was to ensure that, hey, agreed, it was a cautious start, but the clean hitting that he ensured, meant that the trajectory of the game changed entirely. Just like look at his performance itself of 31 balls, scoring a 66. I think he brought up his 15, like just 25 balls. It was like a slightly slow start, but the way he accelerated, right? Again, a characteristic Shivam Dubey knock that India truly, really, really needed at that stage.
yeah, I think definitely. I think he was taking his time to, understand the pitch. He scored like 6 runs or so in 11 balls, which is crazy now that you think about it, which just means that he accelerated his innings so much after that. And India really needed that knock, especially because other batters were struggling, and the kind of phase, the middle over phase that we had, Tilak Verma and Surya Kumar Yadav, we needed at least some runs on board. And he is the kind of hitter that, likes hitting those big hits. So for him to, cautiously take his time and understand the pitch, I think it was real sign of maturity and a very good sign for India. And he was accompanied really well by Hardik on the other end as well, who was not able to strike the ball as much, but he played the role of an anchor.
Yeah, and that was definitely need of the hour, right? Just to give Shivam Dubey that space to go all guns blazing, and Hardik Pandya, playing a very calming presence at the other end. Something we'd not necessarily associate with him considering his own exploits with the bat. But I think this World Cup has really brought out a different side for a lot of these players, right? Live chat, we do see your comments coming in, but I'll probably start off with this one coming from Tushar itself. That the form of Tilak and Surya has been a concern more than Abhishek Sharma, as he barely faced a couple of balls and was looking to hit. But Surya and Tilak just don't look like they're in form, right? Srishti, again, how would you look at this, right? This has probably left the internet very divided because Surya, the kind of knock he played, up front for India,
Yeah.
again, unforgettable, right, to get them to the stage that they were. But Tilak Verma, again, after injury, hasn't seemed like the man he was, like pre-injury, right? Just the form of this duo, how do you look at it?
I definitely agree about the Tilak Verma part because his strike rate has also been really low, and that is unlike him because he's used to, charging the ball. But when it comes to Surya Kumar Yadav, I think yesterday's match was just an exception because we have seen the kind of form he was in the first match. India was struggling, like we were 77 for six or so, and he scored 84 runs, and he was striking really well as well. So I don't think we need to be concerned about Surya Kumar Yadav's form as such. But yeah, Tilak Verma definitely. I was actually thinking why more people are not talking about this, like Tilak Verma's strike rate. It has been a concern, and especially top order, you can't be striking so low. And yeah, definitely, I think Tilak Verma's form is a concern.
Yeah, and hopefully he can find a way to sort of get out of this rut. We've seen what he is capable of, not just for India, right? Even for Mumbai Indians, when his back is really shoved to the ball to be able to come up with performances like that. I know nobody also going on to add here that India needs to be cautious, right? Teams started planning a lot against India, like field placements, different shots against bowlers. Yeah, I think performance like this serves like a cautionary tale as well. Again, just a little bit on India's batting itself. Sudhita goes on to say that India should have sent Rinku before Hardik to give practice. Srishti, again, I think one thing that really divides Indian fans is Rinku's entry point itself, right? Do you agree with the sentiment that probably Rinku should have been sent up earlier? Hardik, again, has probably not had that sort of a tournament, and Rinku, for his credit, has been doing his part, right?
Yeah, I think definitely I agree with this because, yeah, like it was a dead rubber match. We could have experimented to understand if Rinku can, in fact, be sent before Hardik. So, yeah, in this match, India could have taken that call, but I think but I also think that in this match, we were struggling quite a bit. So, at this time, I think they chose to rely with Hardik because of experience, maybe. But yeah, I do understand why Hardik was sent at his usual order. So.
Yeah, probably to just stabilize things and have that anchor at the other
Yeah.
end. And Shivam Dubey, to his credit, was going about his job so beautifully because Sudipta goes on to say that Dubey got lucky, plumb with that umpire's call itself. So again, I think man would just take it in his stride. I know nobody also bringing in a fair observation that Rinku can't bat against spin, right? We've seen those struggles
Yeah.
be there, be very apparent during the IPL itself and playing out in international cricket. But all in all, in spite of all of our criticism, India did get to, 193 for 6. Again, a very competitive total. That late surge itself was just mad stuff, right? Shivam Dubey, like the way he just went about it was really, really good to see. And Netherlands too, right? Aryan Dutt was like a standout, 4 overs, just giving away 19 runs, picking 2 wickets. He was not just economical, but really, really got under the skin of most Indian batters and really challenged them. Logan Van Beek too, right? Albeit extremely expensive, was the highest wicket taker with 3 wickets. And let's talk about Netherlands run chase itself, right? For you, the way the chase was set up itself, right? You'd expect the likes of Bumrah and Arshdeep to step up, and man, did they do that, right? A very disciplined new ball spell. It quietly sort of decided the chase, right? Srishti, with how they forced Netherlands behind the required rate early. I mean, we'll talk about their late order exploits later, but at least the kind of start that the duo delivered.
Yeah, I think definitely Bumrah and Arshdeep definitely a blessing to have in our squad. And yeah, with the new ball, the ball was moving a lot. They conceded like barely 22 runs in 4 overs. And it was not about the wickets, it was about the dot ball pressure that they were creating. And the required run rate just kept on climbing for Netherlands, which is why they were forced to, go against Varun Chakravarti. And that is where they lost wickets. So I think it was really great bowling from our pacers. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a good showing, especially in the former part of that innings itself, because Netherlands, right, to their credit, displayed a lot of resistance and resilience, right. You had a lot of contributions coming in from that batting order. Basti leader, you had Colin Ackerman, you had Leon Cachet as well. Again, Netherlands, do you think they actually batted better than the scorecard really suggests? And this was probably like a warning or a wake up for India that your bowling cannot be this tardy, especially in the fag end of the innings.
Yeah, I think definitely. Like we have been praising our bowling a lot, but also we just won by 17 runs. That's not a huge margin, right? So, and I think that Netherlands did bat really well. If you look at their scorecard, there were contributions from almost everyone except I think their captain and Aryan. So it was a very balanced batting, and that is something that you don't usually see. We are used to, seeing like one big score from a batter, which is a very good sign for Netherlands cricket, actually. That means that like they have a lot of batters in their squad. So it was a really good batting display from them. But I think they just needed that one batter to, like go 40, 50 runs. And then it could have been like a very interesting match to watch. But I think their batting was really, really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, not taking away credit from India's bowling effort itself, Varun Chakravarti, right, especially the way he was operating in the middle overs. Fair to say it was a great game-breaking spell. It sort of, ensured that the very decisive phase, shut the door for Netherlands and not ensuring that they could remain competitive. So, actually, again, Varun Chakravarti doing Varun Chakravarti stuff just, again, means a lot, right, for India at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. Like his presence in our team is like very important. And especially when the asking rate kept on climbing, he nearly came in and picked a hat trick. So I think during the phase that he was bowling, that was the phase that really like, shut the door on Netherlands because they were in the chase, right? Like they just lost by 17 runs. So it could have been possible. But I think Varun Chakravarti's bowling spell was really important. And that is where Netherlands lost the match.
Yeah, very true. And if someone really missed the match, I think unknown nobody giving us a perfect TLDR, right? Varun's double strike won the game for India, but Washington Sundar, Hardik Pandya, Dubey, and all of their bowling was really, really bad. Fair assessment, they weren't up to the mark,
Yeah.
and India just got away courtesy, the kind of total that they had gotten on board. Especially again, if you had to do like a last bit, like a big picture takeaway for India, like for you, did this match like sort of show India's strength of the adaptability, the fact that they've had different match winners? There's always two sides to a story, right? One side is looking at the positives, like hey, different match winners emerging, but as a unit, you'd sort of want them to deliver, right? Like this is eerily similar to the 2024 campaign where like they were wins, but like a little scrappy in that way. But eventually, the team found its way around. Hoping something like that to happen here too.
Yeah, I think definitely a back-to-back win for India would be amazing at the T20 World Cup. But yeah, there have been plenty of positives in the sense that different match winners have been stepping up every game. Like in the first match against US, it was Surya Kumar Yadav. Like he really consolidated the innings, and yeah, Ishan Kishan has been phenomenal. Like he's been striking the ball so well. And yeah, he stepped up in the game against Pakistan. So, and Dubey in this match. So I think it has been like different match winners, and that is a very big positive because you know that okay, if one batter or bowler cannot do his job on that particular day, you have others who will step up. So I think India will take a lot of confidence from that, but also there are plenty of lessons to learn when it comes to our batting, especially and also with bowling. Yeah, like pointed out. So yeah, I think we have seen Hardik struggling, especially in the match yesterday, and also Shivam Dubey. So I think these are causes of concern, especially with the kind of runs that they gave. So yeah, I think India would want to work on this before the game against South Africa, which is a very important game. So
Yeah, because aptly so, our next question is who would you choose, Akshar or Sundar, against South Africa? Again, with Akshar Patel and South Africa, it's a very, very interesting story. Takes us way back to 2024, the T20 World Cup final itself. We saw what happened. If you know, you know. But Srishti, again, like, where's your heart sort of leading you, Akshar or Washi for the win?
I think Akshar has had a lot more game time also, and I think he has been like, but also yesterday Sundar played, so he's aware of the pitch and everything. But yeah, I think my heart would go with Akshar, especially after the 2024 World Cup. Nearly had a heart attack in that one,
Yeah, fair
but
point
yeah,
there. You
that
really. trust his clutch genes to come through and ensure India goes on to win itself. But Srishti, almost as we reach the end of our discussion today too, right? We have three very exciting matches in West Indies taking on Italy. We have Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe, Afghanistan and Canada too. A lot of people will be like, yeah, it's dead rubbers. You already have your Super Eights, groups 1 and 2 pretty much sorted. But again, expectations from today, and excited because it's the last of the triple headers that we get to witness this World Cup.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm really excited to watch Italy bat, especially, and also the Sri Lanka Zimbabwe game. I think that's going to be a very interesting contest to watch. And yeah, I think it's a very interesting day, and it's a very sad day also because the associate nations matches are coming to an end, and it has been really fun to watch them play. So yeah, looking forward to it today, and I think tomorrow is the last day. So yeah, I think it's going to be a nice match.
Yeah, definitely. Expectations are going to be high, and completely agree with Unknown Nobody that we are hoping for Italy to win,
Yeah.
right? They definitely need that, one defining win versus West Indies. And West Indies, again, has been giving us a proper 2016 throwback, right? Doing the 10-year challenge well
Yeah,
by
definitely.
playing the way they have been
Giving us a real
playing.
scare, actually.
Exactly. And again, for all the viewers watching in, if you're still sticking around, like the Super 8s look like this. Group 1 has India, South Africa, West Indies, and Zimbabwe, much against a lot of people's predictions, odds, bets, call it what you may. They've not only, knocked out Australia, but also possibly taken away their chance of, an Olympic qualification. More on that in another episode. And Super 8s, the Group 2 has England, New Zealand, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Again, Srishti, just this, I promise this is my last question, but like, which group are you excited to see the most? I mean, it's a very, very difficult question, I know, but any group in particular you're looking forward to seeing and predictions too?
I mean, of course, India because of obvious reasons. But yeah, I'm particularly excited about the India South Africa game because of the last final that we witnessed, which was an absolute thriller. So I'm really excited for that. I'm also interested and excited about seeing how Pakistan plays against all these big nations, considering they have gone all out in yesterday's game. So predictions would be, I think, for semis, I would say it's going to be India. Zimbabwe, I don't think so. But yeah, I think India has definitely booked that spot. India, South Africa, New Zealand, and maybe Pakistan.
Very interesting predictions coming in there,
Yeah,
Srishti. And I think in our group, in our live chat as well, I know nobody going on to say group 2 really excites them. So let's see
yeah.
what that has in store. But yeah, folks, that pretty much does conclude our very lengthy discussion, comprehensive one at that, of, day 12 of this ICC Men's T20 World Cup. Srishti, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great time at the game, and, just enjoy watching, the cricket that's
Thank you so much
happening
for
there.
having me. It has been amazing talking to you.
Likewise. And to all the folks who joined us in the live chat, both Srishti and I loved your comments and your perspectives. Please keep it coming as we continue, marching on through the rest of the season as well. But yeah, folks, until next time, stay safe, take care. Thank you so much, and bye for now.